Welcome back, profit takers. It's Victoria here, and today's video is going to be focused on the 3-day trade, also known as a trade that you're going to take after the signal, right? Which would be, if you follow Stacy, this would be considered your first green day. In the BTM world, this day is actually the safety trade, right? This is a safety trade because after the peak confirms, right? Because we had a low here and we had another low where it retested and it did not break. So we're at the level, previous day level, right? So that's a check. The next day, right? The close is right. It's right above the open, right? So that's also a signal that we are going to hopefully, right, open and then proceed to trade above the previous day range, which then puts this market out of balance, and it remains out of balance, and it confirms that this is a low. So in the Stacy Burke world, once that happens, guys, once it breaks this level, you can see the previous day level here, that confirms that this here is the actual low. So then in the Stacy world, this will be day one, and then this will be day two, right? Which also confirms that it's a solid green day trigger for us to then trade day three as a possible continuation. Okay, we're expecting that these out of balance markets continue to prevail and and show us that we can load the boat, if you will, right? Because that's what we're looking for. Okay, now this video is going to be basically on these signals here that you're going to see, right, on the indicator. All right. So when you see a 2 peak formation high or low, right now we're looking at just first green day signals, because how many of these do you really need, right? You probably need to trade 2 or 3 of these. You can probably trade 2 or 3 of these in a day, right? And that could be, if you wait for, you could either trade it on this day here, or you can trade it on this day. So day 2 and day 3 are really the 2 days that you're looking to have a scalable trade. And that's really all you're looking for the week. Okay. So I just wanted to show you guys how simple it was for you to use the Profit Takers dashboard to find these easy setups, right? That you can just sink your teeth into and scale up this trade. So I'm going to go over this one more time for the people in the back, right? Because I used to sit in the back of the class too. I was there. Okay, I'm going to change this color here. We're going to do this again because this is important. All right. Now, this is MetaTrader 5. Of course, we have the dashboard available to you for MetaTrader 5. It's also, you can also trade futures on MetaTrader 5 now. That's the information is going to be in the description. It's ampfutures.com. If you guys, and I'm not affiliated with Amp Futures whatsoever. I just love the fact that I can use MetaTrader and use my indicator to trade futures on MetaTrader. Okay. And that, you know, it's just it's so much easier to get things done. When I'm charting, I'm used to charting on MetaTrader. So for me, it's not a big deal. I still use TradingView, right, to execute some of, trades on different prop firms and whatnot, but I chart here, right? So nonetheless, guys, let's go over it again. So, and I'm meshing the two worlds together, right, with the BTM and the SBT, only because this is how the indicator was born. And, as I look to try to make some little adjustments here and there, the Stacy Burke method has really brought everything home for me and was able for me, right, really improve my trading quite significantly. Okay. So in that world, we always look at Monday's day 1, Tuesday's day 2, Wednesday's day 3 to 1. This right here, the reset is what changed my whole world. When I was like, oh, it can just reset. Okay. That changed everything for me. Because sometimes you would look at some of these pairs and they would be going on for days. Like, for example, the Aussie dollar, 9 previous day low, right? So let's just look at it really quickly. What also helped me to take this in bite sizes is when I added the previous day high low count. Because on average, after 3 breaks, that's when you can expect, and I love the PTAD 33. The PTAD 33 is basically letting you know that breakout traders are in the market. They've broken the high 3 times, and we have an opportunity to this is a high probability trade that you want to go in and take. So we'll do a separate video on that, but I just wanted to show you that this previous day high low count lets you know that, okay, it's at 4, so perhaps it broke, it could just keep going to 6, because 3 is the first set, the first cycle, and if it resets, it's going to 6, right? So that helped me tremendously to keep me in line. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go back to the dollar CAD, and this one was a 3-day trade. So again, just remember the 2 previous day low, the 2 peak low. Okay, it could be peak formation low, whatever it is that you want to call it. This technically is saying, in Stacy's world, we call this day 1, day 2, and day 3. And how does we get there? Like, right? How do we get there? So, at any time you're lost in the sauce, he always uses the basic template 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay. So check it out. So we get to, first of all, Monday, does this right here. This is Friday's high, right? And then we have Friday's low. Okay. We're inside the range on Monday. Nothing's really happening. Okay. Nothing's really happening. And then of course there's a big gigantic gap right here when the market opens. All right. So this is really a day that you probably would not trade. You'll just kind of sit back and look, because nothing really happened there. So Tuesday, day 2 is the day that the range is extended, right? The range is extended on day 2, which it did. Okay. It extended out just a bit and it hit the low, right? And then it closed back inside. It closed back inside the range. So when Wednesday came, and Wednesday's our reset day, okay, it was basically, it gave you the stop hunt high, right? And then you had an opportunity to take the short trade. So we had, as you can see, and let me clear this out here, because you're going to also see, I'm going to put this back because we had this peak low here. And this was like a sign, right? It didn't break all the way, but it broke just enough for us to consider that, hey, we may have an opportunity here to go short, right? Close back inside. It did close below the open, right? So that was, for me, I would have looked at that like, okay, it's probably a possibility to go short here. Don't know yet. Okay. And then we have 2, you can see, prices closed underneath the open there. That's 1, 2. And then here's the 3rd day of the possible, right, short trade that we're looking for, right? And it actually happened. So now we have a new low because it closed back inside. Not only did we ping that low, guys, we closed back inside of this particular range, okay? And again, it was slightly above the open, right? Slightly above the open price. I can't even, you can see that, guys. The open was around here. This line here is the closing price. I didn't mean to say that, you know what I mean? The closing price, it closed right above it. All right. So the next day, right, as we can see, it broke the low here. It closed above. So those two things are like, okay, now something, we have a change, right? So the next day, guys, this isn't out of balance until this day. This day breaks out. So now we are out of balance. Okay. And basically, once they broke through this previous day and it stayed above all of that, this day two, which is your safety trade, right, is now your first green day, right? Because it's confirming that this low that was broken is legit. Okay, it's legit low, and now we're day two, right, in the breakout. Okay, well, actually, this will be day one of the breakout. So yeah, that's how that works. Okay, close out of balance. All right, and then look where it opened. It opened up, came back down. Entry was right above this level of the open price, of the close price. Sorry, I keep saying open price because I've always used the open price indicator, and to me they always used to be pretty close. But now I've got this indicator here that's just for the closing price, so that works out great for me. So that's what we're going to use it. And this indicator, I added it to the dashboard. It is something that I found for free. I will send it. The link for that is also going to be in the description, where you can just add it to your MetaTrader 5. Okay. And you can code it just the way I make mine dotted. You can style it however you want to style it, but I just style mine that way. Okay. So now we have day 3, which is the Friday, and this is where you can scale this trade. So you can scale it on day 2, right? Because this is your safety trade. The day after the peak low, right? You can totally scale it, but just know that these day 2s, they can fail. All right. These can totally fail. And the way you see these trades are the one peak high, peak low. So anytime you see that, it's a day 2 trade, right? And if that is going to be the trade that you want to look at, those used to be my favorite trade setups, right? But they can fail. They fail all the time, right? It can fail. And what I mean by that is that it can break out, right? Because you see this low right here, that pink low down there. Let me just clear this board real quick. Okay. So we have this, we're thinking we're going to, we have breakout traders. This triggers, to me, this looks like it's triggering a shorts, right? But, I don't know until day 2 comes along if this is actually going to hold, right? Because they could come up here and then it could just fail and then come back down, right? That happens all the time. Okay. So don't be upset when you're looking at a 1 peak formation or a 2 peak formation and be like, okay, it's a safety trade day. It's a day 2 trade day. The day after the peak trade, I'm going to go in hard on this. No, it could fail. Right. And what I like to do, especially when I see those 1 peak formation day trades, because I'm telling you, you can go back to all my videos. I love these trades, right? I would take 50% of the day 1, right? I would take 50% of this peak high and low. And this is where I would then highlight this area, 50% of that. And, for those of you who watch my videos, I love to use this area, this 161 area, for my target. That's usually my first target all day long. Okay. So I'm going to just draw this line here. Actually, I feel like I have way too many things on this chart. So I am going to use that. Boom. I'll use that as my target all day long, guys. And this is EuroCAD. So it's not something that's always going to be available in my session, but for those of you who trade the earlier sessions, for whatever reason, this works out beautifully for you all. And it is, it's a Euro and Canadian pair, North America, so you would think that they would show us some love sometimes in New York. But it's not always this, it's not always that way, but sometimes you get it, right? But anyway, I mean, that's not bad. 38 points there. That's 38 pips, right? If you were able to catch this trade and you could scale it up. Because once it breaks out, guys, and it stays broken out, I mean, shoot. Right when it opened, even coming into your session pretty darn early, you could see that it is getting support on this 50% area. And the moment this thing starts to break out, guys, just this is in. This is a 30-minute chart, by the way, just so you know. But that's what I always use because, and I use that area because, like I said, sometimes it can come to this area and then it can just start to fail, right? So if you want to be, if you want to look for the easiest trade setups, because that's what I want something easy. I don't want to have to think too hard about where this thing is going. You know, I just want to get to this chart and be like, okay, I see this, boom, that confirmed. It closed above. Because it's just because it closed above the open, it doesn't always necessarily mean that this is going to be, it could be the signal day, but it still has to perform, right? It still has to do what you expect it to do. So we can't always expect it to do what we want it to do, but it still needs to provide us the proof. And that's why I like to say that, hey, this is the signal, but you know, it needs to be true for us. They need to prove it that it needs to be true for this to be true, right? Because I come in, you know, for the New York session, right? For this to be true, guys, it would need to trade, stay above this previous day high, right? If I was doing this earlier in the day, this would have already gone off. I've been like, okay, this is already out of balance. I would most likely be looking for a retracement to get back into the market, right? Or again, because this is the EuroCAD, if I just miss it, I just miss it. You know, there's going to be other symbols that I can go and look at. But this is definitely something for the earlier sessions, you know, especially when you see this before like a Thursday night, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to plan this trade. I'm going to be available to take this trade because I'm expecting it to perform, right? It's out of balance. You know, I'm expecting it to continue to trade, you know, and break the highs because that's really what you want it to do, and break that high. Okay. So I hope that made sense. So we had a few more others that had the day 3 trade. So let's look at the Euro Swiss. Okay. This is another one. We had Friday's, it's real ugly. Friday's high and then low. Okay, sometimes I draw it all the way out, sometimes I don't. But the most important part is Friday's, and I forgot to talk about it, was the close on Friday. Because this is where price will auction from throughout the week. And this is something Stacy says a lot. I've learned this from Stacy. And that's one thing that I did want to add to the chart, to the dashboard, but I figured, you know, this is something I can just draw by myself. It's not a big deal. That as we can see here, guys, we came to the Friday's price, right? And we got support. Okay. And then it closed below. Right? So this one was a little, like I said, you can't always say that this is going to be a first red day because it closed below, right? It's, it could fail, right? So what happened, we had, and this is this right here, guys, when I see price do this, let me just get one of my tools here. When I see price do that, have this high right there on the inside there, that's a dead giveaway. If I can get this thing to stay, that is a dead giveaway, guys, that we are going long. Okay, it's a dead giveaway. So as we see here, this was a dump and pump setup on the first day. I would have this is basically your new peak day, right? And you could look at this as that's one hit, two hit, 3 hits to the low, right? You can look at it that way. And this thing closed above, so it gave us a nice signal as well that we were now out of balance. As we can see, we're above the previous state level, closed above that level, right? And then when it opened, the earlier sessions, it was just at the high, guys, and it did a huge dump. It broke down, and then for the later sessions, right, for the New York sessions, we had a high on the inside. So this was where, for New York, we were able to take the signal. Right, we're able to take that at the later session. If this is your pair, right? I honestly probably would have never traded this one. Swissy is just not my pair to trade all the time. But if this is a pair that you can trade because it's available in your session, then definitely take this trade. Okay. So Friday was this was a choppy market for the day 3 trade. Okay. We closed. It triggered, of course, it's still triggering, the breakout traders, right? This one closed back inside, right? And so here we are on Friday. We have this high on the inside here, another clue, okay? And then you guys are able to take this this dump and pump right off of, guess what? The open price or the close price. And that was the trade. That was it, really. New York didn't really have much of an opportunity here. I mean, it was just jaggedy jag. But again, if this is your jam, you would know how this particular pair works. I don't really trade it, but I know Swissy can be a bit choppy. But it did play out, definitely played out on these long moves. We had this great reversal. So if you were, Thursday was just an awesome day anyway to trade. Thursdays and Fridays have been really awesome for these last couple of weeks. And I still see them continuing to be that way as we progress this month. So I will be watching next week for it to play out just like this week. Did we have another one? Peak low. Those are the 2 peak lows. So we'll look at, I'll do another video for the peak highs. But this one, I just wanted to dedicate it solely for the peak lows. Okay. Now, sometimes you will see, now I wonder if this is going to work out that way. You'll see 3 days, right? You can see 3 days. And usually when you see the 3 days, it's because we had, and this one has 3 peak low and then 2 breaks, right? So this was our first day. It did not break any levels. And usually when you see a 3 peak low with 2, because usually you want to see 3 and 3, right? Usually that's what you want to see. But if you only see 3 and 2, that means there was an inside day somewhere. Okay. And we didn't start counting breakouts until Thursday, right? So that's why we have 2 breakouts. Okay. So this one, I mean, oddly enough, Wednesday, even though it was an inside day, it still closed above the open, right? And then guess what? It opened in breakout. So this right here, opening in breakout, that's a bananas move. Okay, it's going crazy. So Thursday was a beautiful day. It opened straight up in breakout. It closed in breakout, right? It went sideways. And this is something that Stacey says all the time. If it goes sideways on a low or a high, you can expect an explosive move. And it did not disappoint. Okay. This was beautiful. I mean, I wish I could just be trading all this stuff, but I just can't. So we have a high on the inside here. So, just extend that. And then lo and behold, that same level got pinged, for the New York session. I think that's New York, London. I don't know. But for the later session, I think just ping that there, boom, and it's just off. So still out of balance, guys. It's still closed out of balance. So we're going to wait to see how this market responds when it opens on Monday. We might have a good move on Monday, right? Don't know yet. But if it continues to stay out of balance and gets to the 380R, that'd be great. It could get to the 380R, right? We can get to the previous day, right? We could do that very easily because look, that daily high is right there. It breaks that real easy, and then we'll have a 3, and it could come up all the way to this level, and then it can start to break down. Sometimes the 3 previous days will give you the continuation trend, and sometimes it can give you both the continuation of the trend and then the failure of the trend, right? It can do both. So just be mindful of that. All right. So I wanted to make sure you guys understood that anytime you see a 3 and a 2, it just simply means that there was a day that did not hit where price was in a range and it didn't hit any of the major levels. And we do not count that day. Okay. 33, I wanted to do another video on just on the PTAD 33, but let me look to see if we had another one. Yeah, gold. 3 peak low, 2 previous days. So again, this one, let's see, where did we have a day that didn't count? Aha. Friday. Friday did not break any levels. So we have, let me look here. So Monday, look at this from the low. Okay, so Monday opened. We have this little trigger here, trigger in shorts. Tuesday comes. It was looking like it was going to be a short, but nope. It hit that level and it failed, right? So then, boom, we have day 1. So day 2 confirms, right? This is day 2. It confirms day 1 because it broke out. All right, we're way out, and it closed above. Oh, that was ugly. It closed above, so this confirms. This is the first green day. Okay. And again, this will be also a safety trade, right? Based on how this level here, you have a hit here, here. So you have 1, 2, and then 3. 3 hits to this level. So if you knew that and you could see that we have a high on the inside here, that is your clue that you are going long. So you could have taken this safety trade. Obviously, this was earlier in the session. It wasn't anything that I could have taken. But definitely, once this day closes, now we can see that we are set up, right, to, another high right here. Put in another high, which is great. All right, well, now we're set up to go long on day 3. So Thursday, beautiful, powerful continuation trade after we got our signal. All right, our first green day safety trade, everything played out beautifully, and we were able to take this thing up. Now, we also had news this day, right? So, you want to be mindful of news, and you want to trade the 15 minutes or the first, what do they call it? The first bounce, right after the news. You want to be mindful of that. So here comes Friday, right? Here comes Friday. We are breaking down. We're inside the range. The only thing that makes me want to take this trade to go long is the fact that it did ping the previous week's high level and the open range. All that is right here. So that for me was a clue that I could take this long. And this almost looks like a short squeeze. I don't know. But it did not break any other major like previous day levels. It was still inside of this range. So we possibly, again, would like for price to come on up here, break this previous day high, and then we'll have our third break. Okay. And I just talked about what could happen on that day. You can get both long and short trades, right? Sometimes, like with the example with the DJ, how you got, let me clear this. With the DJ, we had the 33 trade. This one, it cleared everything, like cleared the ADR. I mean, it didn't reverse until towards the end of the session. And I don't trade. Usually I'm done trading by 12:30. Sometimes there might be something at 1 o'clock, but usually 12:30, 1:30, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Cause I don't do power hour trades. I just don't. I probably could have got in here and taken this short, but I was happy with my trading on Friday. So I just left it. So this is the 33, right? And the 3 levels, 3 previous day breaks, which could be considered your 3 longs in a market, right? 3 days of longs or whatever. And here's a short trade that didn't eventuate. It didn't do anything, right? I mean, it did, but it wasn't like the whole rest of the day. Sometimes you can see how they pump it up all the way to the high, and then all of a sudden you have a beautiful drop for the rest of the day, and it just didn't happen. So this could possibly set us up for that to happen on Monday, right? So the idea with that, it would, if it did come back up here and gave us a fourth, it could do that. Or it might not even do that at all. I've seen it where it doesn't even come back to that area. It may get close, but then all of a sudden it's just dropping, right? Sometimes I see that too. So we'll see what happens on Monday when it comes to this particular setup, right? So I hope this video, I hope you got value here. I hope what I've shared with you made sense. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.